Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back. Another episode, part of BU Project, Supermom's Magic Circle. And today we have Gisela Rodriguez. Her brand is called Gizela Infinite Love. She's an amazing woman. I met her a few months ago, and I have to say, she changed my son's life. I will tell you more about it. Let's welcome Gisela. Hi, Gisela.
Hi, Rosandra. So nice to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
You're
And
more.
can I start by explaining why Gisela Infinite Love?
Yes, please go for
So
it.
I'm a channeler, and my team is a collective of beings, and we can talk about that more. And Infinite Love Collective, it's their name. So I blended Gisela, my name, with their name, Infinite Love. So it's Gisela and Infinite Love.
I
But for
love it. Thank you
Gis-
so much, Gisela. You've been in my world for a few months, and I have to say, my 2 years old wasn't feeling well for the last 5 months. And as soon as I mentioned that to you, you just step in. I remember even now, you did your magic, which I can't wait for you to, explore and tell us more about it. It's the coding of light or light language, something on those lines.
Energy healing and codes of light. Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. And he was having issues with breathing. He couldn't sleep very well. He wasn't eating very well. And you did only one session with him. And I have to say, the next day I could see straight away he started for the first time eating proper food after so many months of just eating literally milk and biscuits. And his too. But his sleep improved so much. His water intake, everything. Honestly, I said like, oh my gosh, the doctors, they really wanted a surgery for him to remove his tonsillitis. And as soon as I discovered you and your magic, I was like, I don't need to go on the surgery route. So thank you so much for doing that for my little one. And I have to say, thank you, honestly, from the deep of my heart. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for your words. Energy healing is as I do it, and it's always me and my Infinite Love Collective as several parts. And one of them is also etherical surgery. So many cases, me included, I've been a receiver of the same type of healing. So many times, what the healing is about is an etherical surgery. So I was so happy that even with everyone, I give my 1000%.
It's beautiful. And you can see
But
the results. So tell us more about your story. How did you start working in this industry? How did you start your business? And just, I'm so intrigued of what you do. And I know you do more. So I will just mention a few others because it's so interesting for our listeners and our followers to know how amazing you are. So Gisela, she's also upgrading your DNA. She's also a channeler. She also expands the psychic senses, and like you said, you are healing physical and emotional wounds, and more than that. So I know you're part of lots of public speaking events. I'm going with Gisela in May in Paris. We're gonna go an event empowering women. We are part of a really big movement with Rita Valente 7 Day Business Revolution as well. She's in lots of summits, lots of stages. You are inspiring the world, and you are making a change. So congratulations to that. But please tell us, how did you start your journey? And yeah, just tell us more about that.
so being a young child, I was seeing and listening and what others wouldn't. Um, but it was decades ago, right? And I did not have anyone around me that would support that. Or even now you have books and more people are more and more people are showing up doing this type of work. So you can connect easily to get more information what's happening with me. That was not the case
Mm-hmm.
when it happened to me. So I kind of always, in a way, did this. It's not a doing, but I always did this. But A part of my life, I also kind of shut it down, not talking about it, not precisely by not having more information, and the world around me was kind of, what's that, you know? So I wanted to fit in. So I had a very normal life. I was a news reporter and entrepreneur, very successful. And that was a point of my life that I decided to embrace this bigger, more expensive part of myself. And so I started to, okay, I changed my life completely, totally. And again, I would always keep doing it silently or with someone more close or with, you know.
Mm,
But then I decided I'm going to change. I'm going to embrace it and do what is a bigger aspect of my journey here. And so I started to do it and to offer to people. And it always starts with me. Oh, I have this problem, or I have this pain, or I have. So basically, everything that I offer to others, I already had it
right.
in
Mm-hmm.
a a way of saying it, because and I'm saying this because some people have issues that I didn't, but the way of addressing it, it's similar. So, and I also started by remembering past lives and lives in other dimensions. And so I would be doing a download of things, let's say things that I done before, or more exactly things that I'm doing in other parallel realities. So that stream of information started to come down. And I had the influence of shamanic practices because I remember like living in the jungle, living in Brazil, living in South America, and the way of working there, or living in Egypt after Atlantis, and the way I work there, what like essential oils, and so all that knowledge started to show up, and kind of it's a blend. Sometimes I recommend people to use these or use that, but many times I use those essences from an energetic point of view, and
Right.
that's how. And again, and my team, I started to be more a better listener of what my team was saying or asking from me or guiding me. And so that's it.
That's amazing. Oh, I could listen to you nonstop. I have to say, you're such an inspiration. And the fact that you struggled and the fact that you had to put yourself and to shut down just because whoever was around you couldn't see, it can relate to so many of my ladies. I have so many moms, part of my Super Moms Magic Circle, and it's it's hard, especially when you want to do something different. And it's hard, but I strongly believe that you have to push it forward because it's your gift. If you see it, just go for it. So your case is beautiful, and I just,
So
it's amazing. Can you
it's
just tell? Sorry.
about not feeding the contrast. And I explained that. Feeding the contrast means, in a way, you know deep inside you that you would be more pleased, empowered, joyful doing something else or doing the same but differently. And you go in contrast by not accepting it and not doing whatever it takes to put it in motion, you know? So the contrast means resistance, and resistance means fear. And fear is one of the sides of a coin. When you go into fear, you're basically attracting more problems or more negative emotions or whatever may it be. And plenty of times it ends up somatizing, so getting a disease, either physical or emotional, whatever. And so there was a purpose also on my way of evolving to this point, because now what you just said about your moms, the moms that you have in your beautiful group, um, it's the type of also the type of situations that I have, and so the level of understanding, it's so much more empowered, and I always have people telling me, I never said this to anyone, and I don't know why I'm telling you this, because it's a safe space, not only because there is no other way, at least for me to work from I will give my my 1000%, as I said before, but I know it's 100, but I love 1000%. It's
Let's go 1 million. Why not?
joyful and empower thing. And but also uh, the ability to listen and to understand. It's not only because plenty of the situations I dealt with them myself, but also because, again, my senses are so much more expanded, and sometimes people don't have resistance on saying, or they don't even remember the resistance. The resistance is in such a level that don't remember, and so I bring, oh, and these, oh, something happened like when you were, I don't know, 30 or 10, or tell me about it, and then things unfold. So again, the contrast cause is basically resistance, and resistance is fear. And so from that, we are signaling the universe that we need problems.
Okay, so what's the other side of the coin? So if this is the coin, what's the other one?
The other side is love.
Here you
There
go.
are only two things. Like, you may chop it and have like big screen with several things, but the core of it, it's two things: fear or love. And from love, it's the joyful way of saying 1000%, or the acceptance, or, so there's layers, colors, several colors, let's put it like that, in the love side of the coin, and there's basically gray and black and
So
dark in the fear side of the coin.
So
Uh,
what would you say is the easiest way to flip the coin? How can someone, if they really, really want, they can go from the pain, from the resilience, from resistance straight into love? What's the easiest way to go for that?
well, for some people, it's easy when they just realize, or they listen a podcast like this, and they go on accepting,
Mm,
accept, because then it stops the resistance. But I need to add something. It's more often, what happens is that you have a backpack full of rocks, stones, some big, some small, and that means the big traumas, the little traumas, the things that are in your subconscious mind, that is so much bigger and more expensive than your rational mind. So, and everybody already saw as in the iceberg, like just a little bit above and under the water, so much.
yeah,
And so that in itself, and things that you get from your parents, things that you get from your other generations, from your past lives. And so there's a puzzle that most often people don't see, don't perceive. And so sometimes they get frustrated because, okay, I'm accepting this, but I don't go further. I'm still stuck. And that's
yeah,
someone like me can help, because it's dissolving that. It's addressing, sometimes very, very in with a rational aspect, but addressing it to the layers that are hidden, kind of blind spots. And it's a blind spot. You don't see it because it's blind. So that's
yeah,
how I work empowering people, or healing. I know healing as a very broader spectrum, but some things are physical, like your baby. He was not sleeping, not eating. But there's a component that is also emotional and is the surrounding. Like you and your husband got so much more awareness of about what was happening. And then it's all these layers that they are addressed as a whole, you know?
Yes.
And that brings what you just a while ago so kindly said, brings the result that you, oh gosh, it changed.
Mm.
Going to the doctor for months and one session and it changed so much,
It
you
does,
know?
especially your sub, like if we go back to research and science, they are telling us that 90% of our time we are doing things and we are acting based on our subconscious mind. And only 5% we know what we do. So if we don't have a way to activate the subconscious mind and to know what's going on in there, how can we have a new reality? And that's the cycle I see so many times. They want to change your life, but they are doing the same mistakes. They are doing the same things over again. Unless you do something different and you try something different, unfortunately, your reality will be the same every single day. So this is quite interesting. When people want to change, but they do not do anything to change what, what they are doing at the moment. So,
And the curious thing is that sometimes they actually do something, but they give up because on the doing, they're not perceiving results. So
mm,
I also have a post graduation. I'm a executive master in positive psychology, and it was I super learned and enjoyed. But I want to give an example. One of my teachers at the time, and with papers and books and written, uh, it was this, I don't know, this well of knowledge about positive psychology and so much more. But it was very rational, very from the mind, with the scientific approach. There was a dissonance because in his life, and I'm not entering details, in his life, so many things were not going well, even health problems, because the mind is just part of it.
mm-hmm,
All the emotions, all the energy behind it, all the blind spots were not being addressed. So we would have very interesting conversations because I would have the point of view that I was learning and I already had some other type of scientific background. But at the same time, I would bring to our conversations this other background. The subtle reality, it's so much more than what we call the physical reality. And science goes to the degree it can go.
mm,
And that's why it's always evolving. And what was a truth, a scientific truth like 50 years ago, now it's being replaced.
yeah,
Why? Because the instruments, even the way of putting the questions to get some answers from the scientific perspective changes. And but yes, there are those. What I see always, no exception, is that either from the generational aspects or past lives or the field around you, it's crystallized almost in that sense of issues that you're not seeing. And you only see the consequence of not addressing them when you get sick
yeah.
or
And
you
that's
have
it.
a major issue. But the thing is, someone like me addressing those issues before they
You get
actually,
sick.
so life unfolds much easier, you know? And that I had a I teach codes of light, and one of the my beautiful student. She's a grandma, and she booked a session. And I said, "Dear, tell me what's happening." And she said, "Nothing." And I was like, "Why did you book the session?" "Well, to talk with you." And I said, "So, oh, she's US based, and I'm in Lisbon at the moment." And I said, "So we're gonna have internet coffee and cookies and talk a little bit." And it ended up that we should act like this. The result of that session was that the next day, she said she had some hip problems, some movement problems. She said, "Oh my God, so much changed. The my body feels different. The level of movement is different, more amplitude." And what I mean with we should go to the doctor, and I will always say, go to the doctor, do the normal things that you feel like you should do. You should go before the disease, before the uncomfort. And someone like me, it would be great if people would give themselves the space to, if you find someone you trust, that go before. Because then you, even like her, had no issues, but she had a progression that could
Yeah.
be tangible, as in emotional as well, but physically she could feel it. So again, the subtle world, it's so much more expanded and has so many layers. Uh, Comparing the what you call reality, the physicality of the
Hmm.
we live in, it's just a drop in the ocean.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And I have to say, one of my therapists ages ago, especially when you're dealing with a disease or any type of disorder, like an eating disorder, for example, I remember going back to what you said early on. First thing I learned from the therapist, she was telling me that I actually have three options. I can use and live my life from a rational mind, from an emotional mind, or ideally from a wise mind, which is combining both of them. And for me, it was like a game changer. I was like, I had no idea that I can, emotionally, I can always be there, which is draining, or rationally, always there. But actually, when you do a wise move, when you take action with intention, this is magic, your life changes completely. So please, Gisela, let's go back and I really want to hear from you about senses. Tell us more about that. How can we step in and learn to expand our psychic senses?
Well, we all have more than the five senses, and more people are talking, especially about intuition. But one of the ways that I communicate with my team, and it's about telepathy. And actually, it's happening more and more, communicating with friends in that level. And so that is also one of the senses, or the ability to see, uh, being able to see inside the body, or being able to sense, but not exactly to see. So first, I would say, like for saying it in a linear way, it's very important that people address their own issues, because the cleaner, the more flow of energy you have inside you, the easier it gets to get that sense of other type of awareness and expand your psychic senses. In the Codes of Light course that I teach, that is part of it. And again, this beautiful lady, she was one of the said, "I never even did Reiki ever, so I'm not good at these, like in the beginning. And I said, dear, it has nothing to do if you did or not. It's just being fully present and in accepting yourself and being able to heal and learn because the course is very practical. And so while I'm teaching, there's layers and layers that are also a healing way for those that attend the class. Or you don't want to go there. So, and I'm not talking about this because it's something that I'm launching again. A path of empowerment that goes from a session that it's a group because it builds up not only from one session to another, but the group itself, the energy of the group, and you know your group of moms, right? So you go from addressing the womb and prenatal traumas, and then you go to the generational healing, and then you go the ancestors, and then you go to. So it's a path, and by itself, not only you heal aspects that you are aware of, but also those blind spots, those things that you don't even know. There's family secrets that are
Secrets.
a stone in the way, and
Mm.
you inherited them, inherited the energy of them, and you're not aware of them. So when you address like layer after layer after layer, you are so much more complete in shamanic ways. We call that there's an integration of parts
I-
of you.
Is this the reason why you feel like a feather and you feel so light usually after experiencing something like this?
Yes, because your field gets to, let's put it like in colors, because it's much simpler for everyone to understand. You show up with this issue, whatever it is. And so the non sin part of you as that, and everything else that is in your life, the blind spots, what led to that situation in particular, and all. And so when addressing what brought you to the session, for instance, what is happening is like those shades of black and gray and kind of those empty spaces, and let's call it like this because it gives a visual aspect that I think it's easier to understand. And so it's like you cleaning the dust in your house. Then it feels, oh, it's the same house, the same furniture, but it feels clean and it feels and smells better. And everything is so much smoother and flows, right? So in a way, it's dead. Oh, you have your baby there.
Yeah, he just wants to say hi. I think he feels your energy.
Hi, honey.
I love it. I love what you just said. And that example with dusting your house and makes sense. Can we touch a little bit about gifts and how can we recover gifts?
Uh, I just said in my case, I by teaching the codes of light, people expand their gifts. They start to see, they start to listen, they start to have telepathy, they start to have some kind of precognition. So that in itself, it's like, because
Hmm.
now you know, okay, I heard of these, maybe I read of these, but I did not thought that it was available for me, and it's available for everyone. On the other sense, these I call it elevate path of empowerment. It leads to the sum of the same because when you heal aspects and when you interact with me with my team, as long as you said I want to go that way, everything is done in the way that it suits your energy, and it's a group work, but everyone receives what is exactly for them. And the interaction and the sharing of you share, other people share, like it builds up and empowers because when you say something, the other one listening, oh, I'm feeling the same thing and I was doubting myself. Or I was not aware of that. That's so interesting, you know? So the more you work on yourself in this non-space time quantum field, the more you evolve everything at the same time. And so you got results from your physical issues, for instance, or your emotional issues. What is more present and what is, it's not that me or my team command, it's
Mm.
exactly
What's
what
needed?
you and your higher self design that is the more appropriate for you to soak in now and then change. And then again, and it builds up. And I channel codes of light. It's it's an amazing, like I did to in the session with you and your son. It's an amazing way. People call it a tool. I don't really. It's part of me. It's part of what I do. And so it's like calling intuition a tool.
Mm.
It's not real. It's once you expand in that way, it becomes part of you. And so with codes of light, that is so much more empowered and the evolution is exponential. Of course, if you say no, it's no. And all
Mm.
is well.
But
No, I
you,
don't.
with the codes of light, you also teach others how to do it. Is that right?
I teach others either for themselves or they use it along with other tools that they have. Like I had coaches doing it, and then okay, they blend whatever they already do with the codes. In this again, I love her so much. This beautiful woman, this grandma, she uses them in her day when she takes care of her little ones, and there are effective cases of situations that could have been worse. And I'm remembering she once said, uh, out of nowhere, I felt the need, like I felt like I was downloading, I was, and I did codes for safety, and and I just did it. I accepted and I did it, and a little sometime after that day, one of the kids fell in a very dangerous way. And that could have been a major issue, hospital and all. And she told me, I think because I was aware and I was receptive and I delivered the safety codes, that he was kind of hold in that energy and the consequences were not
So
what they,
severe.
yes, what it was expected from that accident to be. So you can use them, just you, your family, or you can blend them in whatever you do in your life or in your practice. So it's very powerful. Everybody can access, and that's what I'm here for. So
So it is incredible, I have to say. And also, after you did the session with my toddler, and you told me a few words I have to tell him every night before go to bed. And actually, I was doing that even during the afternoon nap, and I was keeping saying the same words, saying you are safe, you are loved, you are enough, you are whole. I remember them. And what's really interesting, after 3 days, believe it or not, he started saying the same words with me like a poet, like a song, because I was actually using a bit of music as well, like, you are loved, you are happy, you can breathe, and he started doing it, and he's just two, it wasn't me telling him to do it. He just, after 3 days, he was saying it, and we were saying it together. So, wow, for me, it was wow. I did not expect that to happen.
yeah,
But
that the they are at that age, they are very pure and very receptive. And so it's like an animal. He identifies where the fear is or where the love is. And so remember when we were in the session and it started to giggle and you were
Yes,
surprised. So that is acceptance. Okay, I don't know this person, I don't know Gisela, right? It was the first time I saw him and he saw me, but they can perceive the love. And,
yes,
and so it's so much easier to, like you said, the progression in the following days being so expressive, but also they actually help what is being said by receiving, by integrating, and by repeating, because still the codes, what I suggested that you would say, when you repeat it, the session is present. And so the codes that were delivered in the session are still present. Again, this is a work in a non-linear way. So it's non-time, no time, no space. So when you address it, they are embedded, even if you're
that's
not delivering codes. But because
they,
it comes from the session, you're bringing again the energy. And
wow.
so he identifies it, he reads that.
That's incredible. Gisela, thank you so much. And thank you for sharing so much value and telling us who you are. And I will definitely put all your details where people can find you. Is there a final message you want to leave our audience today with?
Yes, always, always, always choose love and trust yourself, especially what comes from your gut, your gut feeling. Trust yourself. What comes from your heart, trust yourself. And sometimes may be challenging, may require changes, may require leaving some aspects or some part of your life and moving towards others. But just love,
Oh,
because in the beginning and the end, we are love, and
that's
we're
beautiful.
having a physical experience.
Thank you so much. So remember, love, love, love. Thank you for listening, and I will expect another episode soon. Okay, you take care and all the best. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Gisela. Thank you. Bye bye now.